Today we're going to learn about text and illustrations. Specifically, we're going to look at how to combine the two of them to better understand a text. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you understand this video was meant to be used alongside a text from News ELA. If you're not familiar with News ELA, it is a free online resource that has news articles written for kids. This text has been read in class in order to understand the main idea. We will extend our understanding of the text through this video. And you can get the text by following the link at the bottom of this. Our goal today will be to learn how to use illustrations and words to better understand a text. In order to do that, we're going to learn how to organize words and illustrations using a graphic organizer. We're also going to learn how to combine words and illustrations to better understand a text. We need both words and illustrations to fully understand a text. You're not going to understand it if you ignore either of these two things. So I don't want to see you just looking at pictures, and I don't want to see you ignoring pictures. Let's give it a try by looking at the News ELA article. Do you have it in front of you? Okay, great. Let's get started. We're going to be using this graphic organizer. We have the illustration, and we're going to describe that on one side. Then we're going to describe what the words say, and then we're going to figure out what those say together. So it's kind of like math, where we add the illustration and the words together, and then we're going to get our sum, or what they say all together. Let's take a look at the first illustration. We already talked about this in the last video, but take a moment to think, what is this illustration really telling us? The illustration tells us that this school is very similar to our school, just smaller. And if we look at the words, we'll learn that kids do a lot of the same activities that we do at this school. So together, those two things tell us that small schools work a lot like bigger schools. And now we've combined the illustration and the words to fully understand what they're saying together. Let's take a look at the second illustration. This illustration is telling us that there used to be a lot more kids, but now there are only 6 at this school. And the words tell us that Japan's government would like to close small schools. So together we can figure out that if schools get really small, they may not be able to stay open. Understanding what the words and illustrations mean together means you can just look at the illustration, figure that out, look at the words and figure that out, then combine them. If you see these types of questions, you'll definitely want to use a text plus illustration graphic organizer. One question that you might see is, according to the illustration, and then they'll ask you a question. That means that you should pay attention to the illustration. You also might see a question like this, according to the text and the illustration, and then they'll ask you a question. In this case, you're going to want to pay attention to what the text is saying and what the illustration is saying. I think you're ready to try this on your own. Good luck!